My house is an Avengers household. When a new Avengers movie comes out, we are there on opening weekend trying to get tickets to watch the movie, even though the age restriction is there. The kids come with us. We make a plan and sneak them in the cinema, but we love Avengers. And Avengers provided me with a lot of insight into personal finance, and I'm going to share that with you today on the show. We are looking at the personal financial lessons that we can take from Avengers.
Welcome to the Wealth Nation podcast, a podcast for every mother, daughter, grandmother, sister, and wife, and the men who are smart enough to tune in. The Wealth Nation podcast brings you all you need to know about investments, business, property investments, personal finance, and all around financial wellness. Here is your host, Yolanda Rose.
Thanks for joining me today on episode 52 of the Wealth Nation podcast. I am Yolanda Rose, financial advisor and wealth coach, and every week it is my goal to provide you with content that will help you manage your money well and build generational wealth. The Wealth Nation podcast is sponsored by Audible. Audible is a seller and producer of spoken audio entertainment, information, and educational programming on the internet. Audible sells digital audiobooks, radio and TV programs, and audio versions of magazines and newspapers. For a 30-day free trial of Audible, go to www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com/audible. We are major Avengers fans at home, and there's lots of lessons that we can take away from this amazing show. So I'm going to talk to you about some of the financial lessons that I took away from the Avengers Endgame movie. And the first lesson that I've learned is from the main villain in the movie, the last two movies, which is Thanos. If you think about it, the storyline needed the Endgame because the heroes in the movie needed a way to defeat the creature that wiped out half of the world's living creatures. The lesson that we can take from Thanos is that Thanos was able to meet his goal of killing half of the living creatures in the universe because he had this goal. He stuck to it and he worked hard to get there. He knew that he needed all of the Infinity Stones to reach his goal, and he got them one after the other. And it took him a long time and a lot of travel and a lot of hard work, but he was able to reach his goal. And at the end of the Infinity War movie, he snapped his fingers after collecting all of the stones and was able to reach his mission of taking out half of the world's living creatures. Now, you can do that with your own personal finance, where you need to be setting your goals and working hard towards achieving it. It's just a matter of setting these goals and putting a plan into action. It might not happen overnight or as fast as you need it to happen. But take Thanos, for example, where he needed a couple of movies to plan for and get all of the stones, but he accomplished it all in the end. You can reach your goals if you plan your financial decisions around it. The second lesson that we can take from Endgame is that stuff happens when you least need it to happen. The good stuff hits the fan. And we see that in the opening sequence where Clint, aka Hawkeye, is spending time with his daughter. It's some good classic family time. Mom is making some snacks, and all of a sudden, just at a blink of an eye, his entire family is gone. And what we can take from that is that an emergency can happen at any time. It can be smooth going for you and your family, but it just takes a tiny kink in the armor to upset your entire world. And this is when emergency fund can come in and help you. You could be enjoying your job, your lifestyle, and the next thing you know, you've been shown the door at work. And what do? And that's when an emergency fund comes in. You need to be putting money away to prepare for future emergencies. You can put together an emergency fund to help you address any unforeseen issues that can creep up, especially now with the whole COVID-19. If you're one of the individuals that had to cut back, maybe going through retrenchment, this is when an emergency fund will come in to help you, to have enough money to tide you through, to meet your family's needs while you are looking for a new job. Raising financially savvy children involves teaching them a variety of aspects, from budgeting to planning to earning and saving. Now, besides giving them an understanding of the value of a rand, you need to prepare them for the real world. And financial literacy is the skill that they need to succeed with their money. It's never too early to teach kids about money. Many parents struggle to find age-appropriate content, and that is why I have developed the Financial Literacy for Kids workbook. The ebook provides you with sample lessons, activities, lessons plans, discussion points, and quizzes that you can use to test your kids' knowledge. It's a program that I've put together for my kids, and I hope it brings your family value as well. The ebook is selling for 49 Rand at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Tuned In. Now back to the show.
The major takeaway that I found from the Avengers Endgame movie was that you have to establish multiple sources of income. Now we see the fight scene between Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. All three of them go up against Thanos. And it helped in the battle when Captain America was able to wield Thor's magical hammer together with his shield. He was also able to save Thor from imminent death from Thanos. And having that second alternative is sometimes what is needed to save you from whatever might occur. So if you want to have an easier time at managing your finances, look at other sources of income. This will help you cover your debt payments better. It will give you extra money to save for the future, and it will also help you to continue earning even if your main source of income has been affected by emergencies. Another lesson we can take away is that you need to be learning from your mistakes. If you remember in the early part of the movie, and after finding out Thanos had destroyed the stones, Thor killed him by cutting off his head. And if you remember in Infinity War, Thanos was able to destroy the world by snapping his fingers because he was alive, and it was a mistake that Thor had made, and he did not want to make that mistake again, so he rectified the situation then and there. So this point tells me that we got to be learning from our mistakes. We got to recognize a mistake has been made, and we got to learn from them. And everybody makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect. And the sooner you realize that fact, the easier it is to forgive yourself for the financial mistakes that you have made. Recognize those mistakes and build on them and learn from them, and to ensure that you do not make those mistakes in the future. Just like how Thanos said in the movie, I am inevitable. Well, retirement is inevitable, and it might take you a few decades, but retirement will come. And that is why it is best to save up as early as possible. The part in the Avengers Endgame movie that shows how old age will eventually catch up with you is towards the end, when we see Steve Rogers or Captain America volunteer to return all of their stones to their respective realities. And he was supposed to return 5 seconds later. However, he did not show up. Instead, he went to an alternate reality, and then we find him sitting on a bench as an old man who's lived a full life. And this goes to show you that if a super soldier grows old, so will you, and you need to prepare. Another lesson that we can learn from the movie is that you've got a plan. Even for your death, you've got a plan. And Tony Stark did it as well. We find that Tony made the ultimate sacrifice in the movie. He got a hold of all of the stones from Thanos and used that to defeat the army. However, he prepared for that eventuality that he might die. And unfortunately, he did die. And he made that recorded message as a final goodbye to his friends and his family. So this teaches us the importance of planning for the inevitable. I mean, we all know we're going to die. We may be fit and healthy today, but anything can happen. Nobody knows when our time is up. And we must therefore make sure our affairs are in order as if something were going to happen to us today. And one way to do that is by having a will and testament in place that you can leave behind for your family. It will give them an idea of how you want your assets to be shared and how you will provide for your family when you are no longer around. So those are the lessons that I have taken away from the Avengers Endgame. And like Tony Stark told his father when he went back in time, no amount of money ever bought a second of time. Taking off from that, you need to make sure that you enjoy life to the fullest and enjoy everything that life has to give you. And you need to save for the future. You even need to save for emergencies. But that does not mean that you can't live a full and abundant life in the present. You need to spend wisely to give you that quality of life that you are looking for. So that's it for me on this episode of the Wealth Nation podcast. I'll chat to you next week.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to visit our website at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com and sign up for our free investment masterclass.